What up, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today, we're in the Hall of Spoilers for another edition of One's Gotta Go.
This is going to be a scandalous one because we almost didn't even get this started. Just trying to iron this out, see the criteria, who we're going to choose, and why. I mean, there could be, there might be a kerfluffle out there.
Damn, a kerfluffle. I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah, kerfluffle is just like, it's a crowded hallway and everyone's just just shoving each other with their shoulders.
I know what the word means, fool.
I'm just describing it for the people out there so they'll know what they're getting themselves into.
All right.
Not a beat down, not a stomp down. You're not stepping up, no two pieces, nothing like that. It's just, just kind of a little bit of light pushing. You're trying to get out the club, everybody's in your way, kerfluffle.
You done?
Almost.
You want to get to the ones gotta go for this week, man?
Yes, we do.
Explaining your kerfuffle definitions, pulling them out of your ass or whatnot.
Yeah.
One's gotta go, everybody.
And
today's edition, which Robin would make the best Batman if given the opportunity? This is our Robin edition. You guys have asked for it, so shout out to the leaguers out there. Well, out here, because you're in the Hall of Spoilers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, they're battling it out for who would make the best Batman. Now, you may think, oh, this is not fair. Damian Wayne's just a kid. Well, you know what? Damian Wayne is out here in the comments talking about he's the heir to the cowl and whatnot and calling himself the son of Batman. Now he got himself into a problem here. He's in an edition of One's Gotta Go. So, DeepBoyce, who has got to go? Who stays? Who out of these four people do you think would make the best Batman? Okay? First, we're going to eliminate somebody who would make the worst Batman.
Yeah.
And, of course, we're going to talk about who we think makes the best Batman.
This is up between Dick Grayson, first Robin, Jason Todd, the second Robin, who got his ass whooped, Tim Drake, the third, Damian Wayne, the fourth, and...
It's tough to call him the fourth, though, because it's been Stephanie Brown as Robin here and there. We'll just say the four primary Robins that we all know.
True. That is absolutely correct, because Batman's had other sidekicks, and he'll continue to have sidekicks because he likes to put children in danger.
Yeah, that's a little weird on his part. They've never fully found a way to explain that in a way that actually makes me feel comfortable with what he's doing. But anyway.
Well, see, okay, I have to put my feelings aside for some of these characters. Yes, I do personally like some of these guys more than the other.
We all know you like Tim Drake better than everybody.
Yes, but
I'm putting it out there.
There's a pecking order here that maybe we'll get into in this video. But my one's gotta go is going to be Jason Todd. It's Jason Todd because he is compromised. He's been
compromised. Why do you feel that way?
He's been more compromised than the rest of the Robins here. I mean, he's been a troublemaker since the start, and Batman's always been about rehabilitation and not killing bad guys. As a matter of fact, maybe I guess throwing them into Arkham Asylum, which I guess I don't know how many times Batman's gonna put people in Arkham Asylum until he realizes that that's a terrible place to put people with mental issues, but that's a topic aside.
It's also terrible security, man.
Terrible security.
People escape from Arkham left and right, man.
But I may be mistaken, but I think he got Jason Todd at an age where he was a little older than the rest of the Robins when he kind of brought him into the fold.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, actually.
It sort of seemed like it. It sort of seemed like it. Maybe not too older. But he was definitely a street rat. He was definitely out there committing crimes. I mean, Dick Grayson was part of a circus. Tim Drake was just a smart kid. Really, and he, his personal life got infiltrated by some crime and terrible things happened to him. And
Damian Wayne was just the heir to the freaking demon, the Ra's al Ghul. He was just the murderer. He was just a murderer killing people and whatnot.
Now here's
trained to be an assassin. Not bad. Nothing wrong with him.
But here's the thing: is the key difference between Jason Todd and Damian Wayne. I mean, Jason Todd is trying to redeem himself, but I personally see him as more of a liability than Damian Wayne.
Ooh, why do you say that?
Because he's been heavily traumatized. I mean, he was essentially killed. And more importantly, he was thrown into the Lazarus pit, which anyone that's thrown in there is permanently damaged, and they almost never are 100%. They lose their minds. I mean, that's part of the reason why Ra's al Ghul is as evil as he is, because he keeps going to the Lazarus pit, and it keeps making him more twisted and more crazy. Now, Jason Todd has been doing well, and I'm sure he'll be all right for the time being. But Damian Wayne was it wasn't really his fault. It wasn't Jason Todd's fault either, but he was really young, and I think Batman has pretty much undone everything that the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows, Ra's al Ghul, and Talia al Ghul have tried to implement into Damian Wayne's, I guess, psyche and upbringing. You know, I mean, he got him in there when he got him in there at the right time. And from what I've seen, and we both been reading a lot of Batman comics, it really seems that Damian Wayne has gone from being psychotic to just being a brat. Like you start to see that the kid has a heart, and the kid can lead the Teen Titans, and the kid can be dependable as a Robin, and he's really starting to listen to his father. I'm looking specifically at Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I'm looking at issue 1, where the reason why Red Hood went out on this mission, the reason he went undercover under Black Mask, is because him and Batman agreed that he's the only one out of these 4 that we mentioned that is able to go that deep into the criminal underworld. That he's able to handle, that, kind of step the line and get that close, and still, I guess, be a hero of sorts.
Wouldn't that give him an edge that Batman doesn't have? Because, I mean, currently in Red Hood and Outlaws, it doesn't seem like... I mean, they haven't really confirmed or not whether he's doing this, but it seems like he's not killing because that's what Batman has asked him not to do.
Yes.
So it seems like he is conforming to that and he is not killing.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Which is the big argument between him and Batman. He feels like Batman should be killing, these villains who he lets kind of come back and hurt people.
No, but I was going to say that this seems like a very big experiment that Batman... Up until the last minute, he was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And not only do I not trust you, I mean, I care for you, but I know that you don't trust yourself. And I think that's been part of this comic where Red Hood is kind of flat. I mean, he's a little bit of a joke, so he likes to joke around and he's lighthearted, but he kind of gets reminded of some of the tragic things that have happened to him in the past and have pushed him over the edge. And this is kind of his last... He's not there yet. This is his last test, or one of his last tests to see, is he really broken or has he overcome that? He's not there yet. He hasn't quite proven that. I mean, at any point in time, he could go back as many of Batman's villains and cohorts often do. You see this time and time again. I mean, you're around Batman and you're broken and you always relapse. And I just feel that he's got the greatest chance of relapse. And it's not entirely his fault, but it's just thinking as if I'm putting on my Batman cowl right now and I'm analyzing this situation. Batman is all about the facts and very straightforward. I'm sure Batman would agree. Jason Todd is the biggest liability out of the 4 that we just mentioned. And,
I mean, you are the Gotham Knight, so you are an expert in that respect. You know what I'm saying?
Bon.
Got him. Okay, so I was giving you a hard time about Jason Todd, just kind of playing devil's advocate. But I'm kind of in agreement with you about him being the one who has to go. And I'll say something that you didn't quite mention, but I was trying to pull it out of you why he couldn't be the best Batman. I don't think he has the planning chops that the other 3 have. True. He's just not as good of a planner. He's a little bit more reckless, a little bit more... I'll just go into the situation. And even in Red Hood and Outlaws right now, he's openly admitted, like, honestly, I just kind of put myself in the situation. I'll figure it out along the way. Now, that being said, Batman is known as the ultimate planner, but at the same time, Batman also, operates instinctively as well. So Jason's got great instincts. He just doesn't have the planning acumen that the other 3 have. You know what I'm saying? Tim Drake has got the intellect. Damian Wayne has got the the notion that I need to be just like Batman. Batman's the world's greatest detective. I mean, he takes pride in that in the comics, that he's the son of Batman. So he prides himself on trying to be a detective. I mean, you see that currently in Rebirth with him trying to assemble the Teen Titans. It's kind of like he does things in a very master planner type of way. Now, that being said, he's not quite Batman, but I mean, dude's the youngest Robin. He's training himself in that regard. Then you have Dick, who, just as a matter of experience, he has a good idea. He has a very good sense of what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and the approach he needs to take. And you see that currently in the Nightwing comics. Red Robin, Tim, Jason Todd. There's too many names. Goddamn. Red Hood, Jason Todd it's a different story. And for me, if given the chance to be Batman, he has a good point about Batman not having a final solution for some of these criminals, but he wouldn't make the best Batman. But now, this is the hardest part. Uh-oh. Okay? Now that we've got somebody who's got to go, who's got to stay, man? Who's the number one? Who would make the best Batman? This is in the future. At some point, you could be considering this currently. I mean, obviously, Damian Wayne is way too young to be Batman.
Yes.
But I mean, who's got the most potential to be the best Batman, man, based on what we've seen in the comics?
Wow, this is a tough one, but
it's a tough question.
I gotta make a choice. It's not the perfect choice, not the right choice, not the wrong choice. It's the choice. You know what I'm saying?
All right. hey, I can't hate on that, man.
But I think the successor to the cowl, in my opinion, the one that has the chops and will have the chops in the future to be the next Batman, is Dick Grayson.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm going with Dick Grayson.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm listening.
Because we were talking about this earlier, and we felt that, I guess in terms of tenure as Robin, Tim Drake might have been the best Robin because he's like the best sidekick. He best complements Bruce Wayne, but we're not talking about someone that would complement Bruce Wayne. We're talking about someone that has it all to take on that burden, to kind of fit in those boots. And it's an obvious choice to say Damian, and I think at some point in the future, Damian will be the next Batman.
Do you really think it's obvious, though? Do you think it's an obvious choice to say Damian Wayne?
I think it's 50-50, to be quite honest with you. I think either he maybe feels it's too much of a burden, or he doesn't want to do that, and he becomes something else, or he kind of he steps up. Steps up. And he becomes the next Batman because, I mean, Batman, listen, he's trying to get married, and his father told him, listen, you better quit this.
Oh, spoilers for DC Rebirth right now, man. Spectacular spoiler league out here spoiling stuff.
But, I mean, maybe possibly at some point Batman's going to retire and Damian Wayne will take up the mantle. But I'm pretty sure, and he's already done this, Dick Grayson. He's already been Batman for a period of time.
And did a damn good job. You're right.
And he did a damn good job. He's got pretty much all of the skills. He's not entirely like Bruce Wayne. I mean, he's definitely not as grating of an individual. He's a little bit, I want to say he's more compassionate, but he's not as curt. He takes people's feelings into consideration when he talks to them.
Definitely.
Unlike Bruce Wayne. But he pretty much checks all, you can put a check on all the check boxes when it comes to what you need to become Batman. Dick Grayson has it. I mean, he has the intelligence, he has the kindness, he has the foresight, he has the physical skill.
Sure. He's also got the temperament, because Batman is just way too broody, and that's kind of when Dick Grayson had the Batman mantle and Damian Wayne was serving as his Robin. He kind of had the temperament. Robin was more of the darker one in the pairing, whereas Batman was Dick Grayson Batman was more of the lighthearted person. He was able to handle the mantle and take that mantle.
Oh yeah.
And Damian Wayne drew close to him. I mean, he sees him as very much as a big brother. Their relationship is really tight.
Absolutely. And
so why not Tim Drake, man? That's what I gotta ask you. Why not Tim Drake? Why not Damian for you?
I mean,
obviously Jason already got, so he's not even in the conversation.
I was also gonna say something real quick about Dick Grayson. I mean, his parents also died, but I feel that he's been able to handle that tragedy better than Batman has. I guess maybe with the help of Bruce, maybe, to kind of be there and tell him, like, hey, listen, I've been there, and, everything's going to be all right.
I think of one line from Young Justice where, the Justice League is meeting together, and they actually confront Batman about why he's got essentially kids in the field. And, I forget who it is, but they pose the question like, why do you have these, young children in the battlefield as costume heroes, man? It's dangerous. What are you trying to do? Do you want them to become you? And he specifically says, no, I let them do this so that they don't become me. And everybody just kind of falls silent because they get it. And it's kind of like what you're saying, like Bruce is a big part of why Dick Grayson is who he is. For better or for worse, because they definitely had some arguments and they definitely had a lot of fights. And in many ways, Dick Grayson's relationship has shaped how Batman has interacted with other Robins, for better or for worse, once again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like Dick Grayson has, I guess, softened Batman's heart a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of his first foray into, or maybe I guess Batgirl was probably his first sidekick, I believe, or I mean, it could be wrong about that.
I think in terms of comic history, I think the first was Dick Grayson's Robin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that though, so I ain't gonna swear my life on it or anything like that. Somebody in the chat might behead me. But
yeah, to your earlier question, why not Tim Drake? Again, this might be kind of spoiler-ish territory. I mean, if you haven't read, Detective Comics during the beginning of DC Rebirth, but Tim Drake wanted to do something else. Like he didn't have the heart, I guess, to kind of see this through to adulthood like Batman or any of these other heroes. He actually just kind of wanted to retreat to a normal life.
It's a good point.
And obviously
he was going to
before
some events played out.
Yeah, and I have nothing but respect for that, because you often don't see that. You don't see superheroes doing that. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tim Drake is going to come back at some point and be a superhero. He's probably not going to quit.
No, he's not. He's definitely not.
But Tim Drake is too smart to not realize how insane it is to be Batman. How much of a struggle it is, and how much you need someone that's not going to break down. You need someone that is dependable. I mean, Bruce Wayne is extremely dependable as the Batman. He's oftentimes the linchpin in many dangerous situations because he's the last. He's the break glass in case of emergency type of person. He has everything figured out and all the different. I guess what's the word that I'm looking for? He basically has all corners covered, all angles figured out. And while Tim Drake, definitely has the smarts for that. Again, does he have the heart to spend his adult life being Batman? Because many people, and Bruce himself has commented that, sometimes there's more than this. Sometimes this is maybe just an endless cycle, or you can't do this forever. And oftentimes when we do see depictions of Batman, when he's out there like old, he's not very happy. He's not very happy, and it's not a good thing for the person being Batman. And sometimes you need a fresh face there. That's probably another reason why he has so many Robins and so many sidekicks, because you're gonna get burnt out at some point, and you need to kind of have someone that'll pick it up for a couple of years, and then the next person will pick it up a couple of years, and the next person picks it up a couple of years. But I don't know, and I also don't, because we also had a discussion about the fighting prowess of some of these characters. And while I don't think he's a chump by any means, I also don't think he's as skilled of a fighter as Dick Grayson, Bruce Wayne, Jason Todd, or Damian Wayne. So, I mean, you wouldn't want to be Batman and get your ass kicked when League of Assassins shows up on your door.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that Tim has, right? Because I haven't necessarily made my choice. I'll tell you one thing that Tim has that's kind of made it a hard decision. DeepBoyce over here dropping his marbles, literally. He probably got like 18 fidget spinners he just dropped. Tim Drake has the intellect to be Batman. He is by far the smartest of the four Robins that we named. Yes. He has crazy intellect, and that being said, that intellect translates into the gadgetry. And he's also confirmed to be the best detective out of the four of them as well. At least as it stands. This actually, I think happened before Robin came along. But, I mean, Bruce has acknowledged in the previous history of comics and Batman comics. I can't name the specific comic, so my apologies. But he has says that Tim Drake is a fantastic detective. And Tim Drake has that, and I feel like he could be in that role. Additionally, I also feel that he is extreme. He's the most loyal Batman. I mean, most loyal Robin. I mean, during the Battle of the Cowl series, he was the only one that was like, "Yo, I'm not stepping in. No one should step in the role of Batman because I'm not entirely convinced Bruce is dead." And all the other Robins like, man, you gotta move on. Bruce is gone. He's like, nah, he's not dead. And I think that loyalty might give him some loyalty to the cause. That being said, you make a good point in terms of what's going on right now. Technically speaking, Tim Drake did say he was going to walk away from it and go to school and put his brain to good use. Not that he wasn't doing that as Robin, but it's a tough choice. I think Dick right now, if we look at what's happening right now, I honestly do think I agree with you. I think Dick is the one who would make the best Batman if someone else needs to be Batman right now. But I'm gonna turn things on his head a little bit. I'm actually gonna pick Damian Wayne, and I'm gonna pick Damian Wayne only because, and people don't like Damian Wayne, and honestly, he's not my favorite Robin. Dick Grayson is easily my favorite Robin, without a doubt. But when it comes to Damian Wayne, I'm gonna step outside comics, and I'm gonna step into the DC front office. They're grooming him to be the next Batman, and you acknowledge it. Him, I think he is gonna go. I think right now he's super low to Batman. He wants to be Batman so badly, and he considers himself to be the heir, to the point where he literally was hanging out on the West Coast with the Titans. He traveled all the way to the East Coast to pick a fight with Dick Grayson because his Teen Titans friends told him that Dick Grayson would make a better Batman or should be the inheritor of the cowl. He actually went over there to pick a fight in Bloodhaven with Nightwing because of that. But I think he may deviate from that path eventually. And I think he may get to the point where he may question whether or not he wants that role. But I think DC is grooming him to be Batman down the road at some point. I don't know when, but I feel that they are grooming him to be Batman. I feel that having him train with the League of Assassins, since he was born, having him be genetically engineered to be a fantastic fighter, having him train with Batman right now, and you see he's a fantastic strategist for his age.
Yeah,
great strategist. Even the way he manipulated Titans into working with him, great strategist. His social issues, it needs some work. His social relationships need some work, but he's young and he is working on that. And I think when it comes down to it, he might actually become down the road the most well-rounded Robin because his father was able to intervene in the way he was being raised with the League of Assassins. That being said, he is probably the deadliest Robin.
That's for
because, yeah, he don't need guns like Jason Todd. Jason Todd's a great fighter, excellent fighter. Dick Grayson also with his acrobatics, excellent fighter. Tim Drake, I think we can agree, is probably the least skilled fighting-wise. But Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne may actually be the best fighter, or down the road he might be the best fighter, just because dude knows how to kill people. The League of Assassins trained the dude well. Now, he may have some liabilities with Ra's al Ghul being his grandfather, Talia al Ghul being his mother, but he has resisted them at every turn at this point, and he shows no signs of slowing down in that regard. I'm sure they'll have a storyline where he relapses, he has to come back to the League at some point, but I think ultimately down the road, DC, their front office, if they ever decide to take Bruce Wayne out of the Batman role, I think they're grooming Damian Wayne to take his place. I think they've set up the foundations of when this kid becomes an adult, just because he's been fighting, it's literally since he was born, damn near since he was born. I feel like they're saying he's gonna have the fighting know-how to be Batman, and also the fact that he's training, he wants to be the world's greatest detective. I think they're giving him that initial feeling of, I want to be the best, and therefore I will become the best. That's what drives Bruce Wayne. That's what always has driven Bruce Wayne. That's why he trains so hard. It's because he has to be better than the next person. And Damian Wayne's got that, man. He's got that.
You can see it just from this new comic, Super Sons.
Definitely.
Both of these characters, Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne, they clearly in each issue position them in a way to remind you, hey, wink, wink, these guys are the successors to Batman and Superman.
Again, absolutely. Once again, stepping into the DC front office. They have a son for Batman. They also have a son now for Superman and John Kent. They've got African American Wally West. They really need to find a way to distinguish the two Wally Wests they have now. One maybe needs to be called Wally, the other Wallace. Something needs to be done about that, because I hate referring to him as African. I should say current Kid Flash. How about that?
Yes.
So current Kid Flash, around the same age as the Super Sons, as you called him, 100% could inherit the mantle of the Flash down the road. They've also got Emiko, right? Mm-hmm. She's Red Arrow right now. Green Arrow's sister in the comics. She's 100% primed to take on the Green Arrow role when the time comes. They've established these legacy characters without you even knowing. You know what I mean? They didn't just, throw them into the mix like, Marvel has, which has upset a lot of people, but Marvel has seen success, particularly with characters like Miles Morales. They're actually building them up slowly. And I think ultimately Damian Wayne will make the best Batman. I know it's crazy. I never thought I'd be saying that, but the more I thought about it as this video progressed, because we didn't plan this. I know I threw you for a loop with that one. I know you didn't think I was gonna pick that one.
Yeah, no.
Especially with how much I love Dick Grayson.
You made a good point. I mean, real talk. I've always thought, that Damian will be the successor, but I think Nightwing should have, just a little bit of a little time as Batman, just as a thanks. You know what I mean? Because
as a thanks.
As a thanks. I just feel it's appropriate.
Also, in the comics, he has openly stated it. Currently, in the Nightwing run, he's openly stated, I don't want to be Batman.
True.
I need to be my own man. I need to be my own person. That's why, minor spoiler, he does ultimately leave where he's at and go to Bloodhaven to forge his own path.
True.
And I think, that has, he never really wanted to be Batman. And I think that's an important thing. And these previous Robins, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, they've never outright expressed a wanting to be Batman. And like I said, I genuinely believe it'd be too simple if Damian spends the rest of his time in comics like, I just want to be Batman. You know what I'm saying? I think he is going to have a point, especially when he gets to his, teens and maybe early adulthood, where he's like, I don't want this role. I don't want this burden. But I think that's what will ultimately forge the hero. Somebody who strikes out on their own and says, maybe I don't want to be Batman, but then comes back to it and says, you know what? I don't have to be my father. I can be better than my father.
Yeah. And,
that's a foundation that's built into Damian's DNA, literally and figuratively. He has this urge to be the best. Now, a lot of people, they hate Damian Wayne. They tried him out when he first started, and they were like, oh, he's a little shit. He is kind of annoying. He has a personality that grates on you. But I can honestly say, having read the comics, he grew on me. And he's not my favorite Robin. As I said, Dick Grayson is 100% my favorite Robin, without a doubt. But I do have a great respect for Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne and what they're trying to do with those characters. So, that being said, DeepBoyce, we want to hear what the leaguers out there have to say.
Yeah.
Who do you think would make the best Batman? Who is your pick in this One's Gotta Go edition? Who's gotta go? Is it Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, or Damian Wayne? And who would make the best Batman? Which one of those four do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And by all means, join up with the Spectacular Spoiler League, because we need you guys out here permanently, on a permanent basis. Me and DeepBoyce, we getting out of all the spoilers, y'all. Peace out.
Yep.